Hey folks, Realtor Chris Hall here. I want to talk to you about property taxes and what might be in store for some homeowners that have bought their properties or their homes in the past few years. When I say over the years, I'd say really over the past 2 years of people that are calling me because their tax values have gone up substantially and they're just blindsided with these higher payments. So let's break this down a little bit. So whenever you buy a home in mid-October, your new tax value is going to come out. And then shortly after, and for the sake of this video, let's just assume everybody has an escrow, and that'll make this video a little bit easier to follow. So whenever that tax value comes out in October, shortly after that, you're gonna have to make your payments on your taxes, which will come out of your escrow. And then you've got from February to April to protest these taxes. And most people have a deadline in May to complete everything. Now, a conversation that I recently had with somebody was they bought a home in 2022. And when they bought this home in the summer of 2022, the contract price was $800,000. However, when they bought the home, the appraised value was $445,000. So remember those numbers. Appraised value was $445,000. The purchase price was $800,000. When the buyer purchased the home and the lender was running the monthly payment, most of the time what the lender is going to do is say, okay, I'm going to pull the property off of the county website. Hey, there's your tax burden. It's about $13,000 a year, plus your home purchase of $800,000, and then they give you that monthly payment. Well, what happens is whenever that home transfers owners, it has a one-time ability to jump to market value. So in these people's situation, they bought the home the summer of 2022 for $800,000 with a tax burden of our tax value. I guess I shouldn't say burden. Sure feels like a burden to me. But with the tax amount of $445,000, but the next year it jumped to the market value of $669,000. Now it will only go up no more than 10% every year from that point on. However, it went from a tax amount of about $13,000 a year to a little over $19,000 a year, which equals for that homeowner now an additional $500 every month they have to pay to cover that higher tax amount. So in this scenario, if this buyer would have had a conversation with his lender and said, hey, I know that the tax amount is $450, but can you just run what our tax or what our payment would be if and when the time comes that we're paying on the full $800,000? So this is advice that I give to a lot of my buyers. Whenever you're looking in a particular area in North Texas, unless we know the exact amount, run the number off of the contract price based off of 2.7 or 2.8. The reason why I do this is most of the range that I see in North Texas is going to be about 2.1% to as much as 3.2% on the overall tax amount. So 2.7 to 2. I feel is a good number. And if this individual person would have had a conversation with their lender and said, hey, what would my tax amount be when the appraised value gets to $800,000? It would have sucked because their payment still would have gone up, but at least they would have known or at least anticipated that higher payment, if that makes sense. But anyways, folks, that's the end of the video. I hope you got some value out of it. If you know of anybody that's thinking about making a move, I'd go ahead and send them this video or at least give them this insight because it's really going to help people at least prepare themselves for that higher payment.